Hello, my name is Isaiah, and today I would like to talk to you about the first two amendments written by James Madison and how they are misinterpreted, how they look in modern times, and how we should use them and think of them in the modern era. The First Amendment states Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. This expresses how our government was founded after a period of tyrannical control from Britain, and how this suppressed how they suppressed the American voice and treated American Protestant settlers much more worse than the British Catholics. A lot of people don't understand what free speech means. They think that free speech means, like, they just think you mean, oh, you can say everything, you just can't say these certain words. But no, that's not how free speech is, because free speech, you can say any words no matter how they may be. And the reason this is because if they have the right to take away some things, what's going to stop them from taking away all your rights of speech? And then you're not going to be able to say anything you want to say. Now, I mean, you just have to have some of the bad to have some of the good. Let's talk about the much more controversial Second Amendment. It states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This amendment is by far the most interpreted out of all 20 amendments the United States has passed as of time of recording. Let's break down what James Madison was writing when he proposed this to Congress for the very first time. The very new United States had just won a war against the most powerful state in the war, the English. The English had ruled the area for almost 2 centuries and imposed many taxes on the settlers that lived there. They tried to take away their firearms and freedom of speech. If that succeeded, we would not be living in the America we know today. Our founding fathers intended us to have weaponry we could use to fight off a tyrannical government if they imposed too much of a threat to the security of our nation. Another common misconception is that people who think that the Second Amendment was only intended for muskets, flintlocks, matchlocks, etc., that's wrong. But it's a little weird. Yes, at the time of writing it, it did intend on those, but that's because that's the most powerful handheld weaponry they had at the time. For the majority of our country's lifespan, the civilian-owned firearms industry had better weaponry than the government military. It was only after the start of the 20th century that the government started developing better weaponry and started taking privileges away from ordinary citizens. So, for most of our country's life, we've had the civilians have had better weaponry than the military. Let's look at the Civil War, for example. The military was still issuing matchlocks, caplocks, flintlocks, muskets, all of that to use in the war, even though the things like the repeater and the revolver were already invented, and civilians at home just had those. The reason it is a much the Second Amendment is much more controversial in modern times than it used to be is because mass shootings have started occurring a lot in the latter half of the 20th century. These instances have sparked public outrage into thinking guns are the problem, but what we have done is only increase the amount of shootings. If someone has the intention to bring harm onto a group of people, a sign that says a gun-free zone will not stop them. What instead should be done is keep innocent civilians armed, so if a conflict like this ever occurs, they have a way to defend themselves and to stop the person before they cause more harm. And school shootings are a relatively new thing. Teenagers used to keep their shotguns, rifles, whatnot in their trucks while they went to school because they just go out and hunt afterwards. I mean, they used to have gun clubs at school where students would just bring their guns and show them to other classmates, check them out, kind of thing. But ever since Columbine, firearms in civilian use has changed drastically. It went from some people are dangerous, it's not the gun's fault, to guns are the problem, guns are what kills people. But that's not the case. Guns have never been the problem, but the modern day blames it on them. People kill people. Guns can't kill people. And the thing is that bothers people like me and a bunch of other, just a bunch of people, is that people are blaming guns and not blaming how the mental health issue in our country right now, which is a huge thing. It's the most mentally ill generation ever. What I'm trying to get at with the analysis of some of our amendments, or the two amendments, is that people misinterpret a lot about our country, about our people, about our culture, about our history, and so on. History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme, and I hope we all as a society know and understand what this means. In the 1910s, Russia took away their citizens' firearms and freedom of speech and ended up losing over 100 million of their own people due to their policies. In the 1930s, Germany did the same thing, and it started the most catastrophic and deadly war known to man. In the 50s, China followed that routine, which started the chain to the Tiananmen Square massacre, which killed between hundreds and thousands in just a couple of days, with thousands, possibly 10 of, wounded. What I'm getting at here is when you take away the two most important things civilians have, their right to speak and their right to defense, only chaos and tyranny come out of it. The government thinks they can do whatever they want to a nation that is brainwashed and defenseless and will take advantage of you if you do not take precautions. Don't let our country go to the same route. We have to act fast before it's too late. Thank you for listening. God bless. Love y'all. See you next time.